Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Wynn, and today I will be doing a video analysis on The Two Sisters by Pierre-Auguste Renoir. And sorry if I keep looking down, but it's because I have my computer right here, so I'll be looking back and forth looking at my notes. I'll insert a picture somewhere right now so you guys can see what the actual painting looks like. In my analysis, I want to first talk about what Impressionism is and give background information about the painting and the artist. After doing some research, I found that Impressionism is a movement of art that emerged in the 1870s in France. It opposed a lot of the rigid rules of what fine art really was back then. So if you go back and look at all the artwork that came previous to the 1870s, a lot of them focused on political events and a lot of wars, battlefields, stories from like ancient Greece and Rome were depicted in these artwork. Around the time during that movement, many artists were trying to stray away from those concepts, and instead they wanted to start drawing and painting landscapes and just more of like the daily life of the middle class person. I guess the idea of Impressionism is to not exactly replicate what scene the artist is trying to draw. They don't look at a scenario and say, hey, I want to replicate it exactly with every single detail. The idea is to make an impression of what the artist saw. So in order to do that, a lot of characteristics that are used are thick and messy brush strokes and a spectrum of color combinations. A lot of artworks in the past prior to this, with all the battlefields and ancient stories from Rome and Greece, really use dark colors. A lot of them use black and brown. We keep seeing the increased use of colors. I guess more information just on Impressionism overall. The most notable works are Paris Street, The Starry Night, and Water Lilies. To give more context about my chosen painting, the artist Renoir was a famous painter who really focused on painting women and also warm family scenes. So this painting really focused on the two figures of sisters. So the painting took place in a suburb in Paris, and it's of two figures who resemble sisters. After doing some research, I found that they weren't even related at all, but in the picture and the title, you can tell that there is some sort of relationship between them. So again, different from previous fine arts, the artist didn't want to focus on political events, wars, or the life of working class. So he preferred to focus on the social life of the middle class. And in this painting, you can see in the background there's a huge body of water, there's some boats, there's trees, and it really does indicate that the artist is trying to focus on the leisure time of a middle-class family. Going more into my analysis, two important features of this painting that I really wanted to discuss was the element of color and then also the principle of emphasis. So late in the 19th century, a lot of people found that shadows weren't always black and brown, but in the previous artwork you could always see black and brown used as the supporting colors. And that really made the paintings much darker, much more toned down. With this movement, people found that the shadows weren't always like that. They could appear in a variety of colors depending on how the lighting hit the object. And because of this, a lot of Impressionists began mixing complementary colors to substitute black. So for example, orange was used in the painting to give the rivers some type of shadow and just more of a structure. And in typical paintings, these shadows would be done with either black, grays, or browns. And in addition to this, complementary colors were also used to make paintings livelier. If you guys look at the painting, there's a pot behind the young girl, and you know, when you first look at this pot, your head thinks it's just green, but in reality the artist uses red as small details on the pot, and this little detail makes the pot more realistic and more three-dimensional. Color was also used to place emphasis on specific parts of the painting. In my opinion, there were three main focal points of this painting. The first one was the older female's hat, the second one was the younger female's hat, and the third focal point was the basket of wool in the left corner at the bottom of the painting. And color was used in all three examples to really place emphasis on that point. So for example, the oldest lady hat was a sharp scarlet red, and it completely contrasted with her dark blue dress. And so because the dark blue dress was so dark, your eyes are immediately attracted to her red hat. And the same concept also goes along with the younger girl's hat and then the wool basket. They're both filled with colorful flowers and colorful wool, and so immediately when your eyes look at this painting, they immediately divert to those specific spots. I guess I was very intrigued with a specific painting just because, one, I have always been interested in Impressionism, and I had the opportunity to go to Chicago 2 weeks ago to go visit the Art Institute, and this painting was there, so I absolutely had a great time just walking through the exhibit and looking at these paintings. But one of the reasons why I was mainly drawn to this painting was because of the colors, and as I've just talked about, the color was one of the key points of the painting, so I think that was very crucial. And that's really all I have for this video analysis, so thank you so much for watching.